Mental health in Utah. Hello, I'm Mark Weisenburger, your mental wellness advocate. Today, I want to talk about mental health in Utah. There's a myth, or maybe it's a fact, that Utah has the highest use of antidepressants of any state in the United States. And I don't know if that's true, but why don't you go ahead and just down in the comments type yes if you believe that's true, or type no if you don't believe that that's true. And of course, we'll start a dialogue down there in the comments. Now, before we get started directly into the state of mental health in Utah, I just want to point out one simple fact, and this is from American Psychological Association, and it was published November 27th, or November 2017. So it's about a year and a half old, but it says, by the numbers, antidepressant use is on the rise. And then there's about 6 different statistics here in different areas that show how antidepressants are on the rise. And we'll talk a little bit about that towards the end of the video on why I think it's going on and why they're on the rise. But for right now, let's dive into the mental health state of Utah and what's going on right here in this state. And I've got some statistics here and the information that I want to make sure I get exactly right. So I'm going to be reading those. And this information comes from Utah Public Health Data Resource. And we just come down here and it says, why is it important that we discuss mental health illnesses in today's society? And the reason is approximately 18.3% of adults in the U.S. experienced some kind of mental illness during 2016. Excuse me. I want you to keep that number in mind of 18.3 for a little later on in the conversation. With 6.7 of adults suffering from at least one episode of major depression during 2016. Now, major depression is defined as having several symptoms that interfere with the person's ability to work, sleep, study, eat, and enjoy life. Now, I know I've experienced some of those. I don't know about you. If you're watching this, I'm assuming you have, or you at least know someone that has. And the trick with this information here is they go up here again to this 18.3. Now, I have never told a doctor or any other healthcare professional that I've suffered from mental health challenges. So though my number's not included in there. And so there's probably tens of thousands of people walking around America dealing with mental health challenges that no one knows about, that's not reported. So in reality, that number is probably much, much higher than that. Just an opinion. But it goes on, and symptoms of major depression may include fatigue or loss of energy. I can check that box. Feelings of worthlessness or guilt. I can check that box. How about you? Impaired concentration, loss of interest in daily activities. Check. Appetite, weight change. Check, check, check. Sleep changes and recurring thoughts of death or suicide. The change of sleep changes. Check. I've wished I was dead. I've never thought about committing suicide. Probably because I'm a big coward, and just the thought of it and the pain that I'd have to suffer through that probably keeps me from experiencing that. But so if I haven't reported this to a doctor, how many other thousands or tens of thousands of Americans are walking around the country not reporting this to their doctor or psychiatrist? So now let's get into Utah as a whole, since that's what this is. How are we doing? And it says in Utah during 2017, adult women, 29%, had significantly higher rates of doctor-diagnosed depression than men at 16.1. Now, there was a point there that said this is doctor diagnosed. So that goes back to the thing that I've never told a doctor. I've never had a doctor look at me. And so why are people struggling with this? And this article points out one obvious thing, and it breaks down the income here in Utah as that points out that finances and income, even though we say money can't buy happiness, it obviously can buy some mental health, because it says adults with household incomes less than $25,000, 32.1% suffer or will suffer with a mental health challenge with those. Those with household incomes of $25,000 to $50,000 had significant higher rates of lifetime doctor diagnosis of 24.2%. And then those with incomes greater than $75,000, that drops down to 17.6%. And so that is pretty staggering in my mind, and proves that money is a big issue in mental health, even though money can't buy love or happiness, rather. So this was interesting to me, and they've broken the state down into smaller areas. I'm not going to go through all of them. There's about 20 plus areas here. But it says Utah small areas: Provo, East City Center. So east of Provo, if you're familiar with Utah at all, 36.6%. Murray, which is a small town up in Salt Lake County, 28.5%. Tooele Valley, which is about 40 miles southwest of downtown Salt Lake, minutes I should say, not miles, is at 26.2%. So it's pretty significantly different out there. So overall, how do we here in Utah compare with the rest of the nation when it comes to our mental health and wellness? Utah has consistently higher rates of self-reported lifetime depression than the U.S. rate. Utah is 22.5 versus 19.3 in 2017. Now, this did say self-reported, so this is not doctor diagnosed, but so we have an open community here where maybe we feel a little more open to tell and share with people that we are struggling. I don't know. But so let's get into that first thing, antidepressants on the rise. Why is that happening? And of course, we've talked about one, finances. Number two, I'm going to talk about, well, now's a good time to bring in this article. There is a thing going on right now called the gut-brain axis. It's a brand new science that has been going on for the last 7, 8, 9 years, and it's becoming better and more focused all the time. And the headline here from mindbodygreen.com is your gut has more sway on your mental health than you think, study says. And it goes through, and scientists just made yet another discovery linking our gut to our overall health. The latest connection, gut bacteria and depression, according to the latest research. Now they're saying latest, and this was published in February of 2019, but we know from other research that this has been going on, like I say, 6, 7, 8 years. So this isn't new news, but it's not out there yet. But a study published by Natural Microbial examined the microbiomes of about 1,000 people who had been clinically diagnosed with depression. So let's talk about, why is depression, antidepressants on the rise? Again, the article proves finances are a big challenge. It's starting to come out that diet or artificial sweeteners have an impact on your gut. And as we learned from this article and several others, is that our microbial or microbiome in our gut, which is our good bacteria, has been damaged. The more antibiotics we take, the more artificial sweeteners we take, the more processed foods we take, the more of everything that we do in our modern society is impacting our microbiome in our gut. So that's a reason. Another reason is we're just more aware now. It's okay to talk about mental health challenges. Oprah, The Rock, Beyonce, others are talking openly about their mental health challenges. So that opens doors for us to do. And so I think that's one of the major contributors to the numbers and percentage of those suffering mental health challenges going up and up and up. So what can we do about this? I always like to present a solution to a problem. And again, I am not a doctor. So I'm not here to play a doctor, but I would like to encourage you to watch a video by Dr. Sean Talbert, which talks about the microbiome in our gut, how or what impact that has on mental wellness, and what his company, Amari Global, which is a mental wellness company, what they are doing to improve not only the gut, but the brain and that axis, that communication axis between the two. So I will leave a comment, or a link rather, in the comment section below so that you can go gain access to this video. It's about 40 minutes long, I'll warn you of that. But hey, if you get bored, it's not of value to you, go ahead and shut it off. But I want to offer that to you. You'll have to go through a gate or give me your email to get that. But for doing that, not only do you get the video training, you will get access to a mental wellness assessment free of charge. You will get an infographic of the 5 myths about mental wellness. And then there's also a third bonus in there, which I'm spacing off right now. But it's well worth your time to watch that video if you're not suffering from stress, anxiety, feelings of depression, burnout. With the numbers we've talked about, chances are pretty good that you know someone that is. So go ahead, get this information, pass it on to them, and I'll be sharing my story here shortly and posting it up here on YouTube and other social channels. So watch for that, and I will put a link from this video so you can forward and click into my story when I get that put up. So again, go ahead and leave your questions and comments below. I would love to engage with you, would love to have a conversation. And so until next time, to your mental wellness.